One, and you should be going.
Welcome back to I almost said No Small Feat, Jesus. Welcome back to Currents of War, everyone, the third Fabula Ultima campaign that I've run in my fantasy setting of Midgahheim. Um when last we left our heroes, they went to the town of Alsace, where Flavian met two old acquaintances from his time as a merchant. Um the gang got their fortunes told, whether they liked it or not, dropped off an orphan at the local temple, and then had a fun excursion in the woods where they fought a whole shitload of revenants, which is a fancy medieval word for zombies.
My bad.
Did I leave anything out? Anything important? Oh, and they informed the Hunters Lodge that Frank Hain might have a slight case of being invaded by the British. I mean, the Bretonch.
Yeah, that's also kind of my bad too.
Just the bearer of bad news, this duck.
It's like she's a bird of ill omen or something.
Having got a sweet and wonderful collection of severed revenant hands, we have returned to Alsace to sell them to Ross Weber, a totally trustworthy and legitimate businessman. Give me 1 second. I have to put off my headphones for a moment and then put them back on. Okay, done. So, I'll just play our beautiful town music. And all right, you guys are back in town. Not turned into zombies. Zombie problem dealt with. Day saved in some ways.
Although, seeing how many times Flavian got chewed on, keeping an eye on him.
Remember, the herbalist gave you a thing that keeps you from catching zombieitis.
Yes, but still, that was a lot of chomping.
That is true. Yeah. So you're back in Alsace. The fortune teller has mysteriously disappeared, probably nothing. But Pierre Rancine and Ross Weber are still in town to ply their trade. I do have us on the right page, correct? Oh, I don't. Get in here, fuckers.
Here we go.
Okay.
How mysterious. She's gone.
Oh man, now I wanted my fortune told.
Well, you've got the cards.
I can't read fortunes.
All right, let's turn in those stupid hands.
Yeah.
Wow, Flavian. Look a little rumpled there.
You got those damn hands for you. Just take them in. How much did we collect?
70.
Holy shit!
There were a lot.
Oh, damn! All right, give me them hands. He greedily holds his arms up to collect the severed limbs.
70 hands is going to be a lot. So I think Grugan was carrying them. So
I'll slap him down in a bag.
He's gonna look at them all while laughing with maniacal glee at his fortune as he starts shoving them all into a case. And what was that? 50 zenit apiece, right?
no.
200. 200.
200 for a bunch of hands?
We can take them back.
All right, I see I've got a couple of sharp-eyed sharks. All right. That's 200 a piece. And he quickly forks over the cash.
14,000.
Which I believe we figured out.
Yeah, it was 2,800 a person.
Yeah.
What a good day for all of us.
I expect one of those hands of Gloria's compensation.
Sure, if you're willing to front up the price for it.
Wins. I have a feeling we'll run into you later. I'll see what you price them later, but I expect a discount. These were
Yeah. Just save up 300,000 Zenit, and you'll have them in a jiffy.
looks to Flavian. I'm going to rob the fuck out of this guy if you don't stop me.
I don't care. But you said you had some things to sell now that you said you thought were out of our price range, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's true.
Well, come on, show us your wares.
I definitely know
All
Pierre
right.
has stuff worth spending. You still have to prove yourself.
I'm sorry. Would you like to run that by me one more time?
I am interested in seeing your wares compared to
No.
competitor.
I would like the exact phrasing.
I know Pierre has items of worth. I would like to.
Pierre is a fucking moron. Pierre is a. And you can see Pierre over in his booth, clearly hearing this and looking increasingly downcast.
Oh,
That bloated idiot wouldn't know a good bargain if it struck him upside the head. He doesn't know what profit margins are. He thinks he should charge a fair, affordable price. He's a moron. You think he can outdo me in terms of stock?
Not really proving it.
Okay. Okay. I know you're playing me.
Is it working?
Yeah, it is. It is working just slightly.
That's not Duck laughing. That's me.
Fine. What are you looking for? What can Ross Weber's fine amenities furnish you?
What do you have to offer?
A lot. Do you want magic spell books? I have, let's see, I've got a copy of those for Nomicon, just an encyclopedia. We've got this Plague Doctor jacket, it's pretty nice. Let's see here. You want a plumed helm? It makes you see better somehow. Let's see here. I've got this Thunderbell iron plate armor, but you don't look like the armoring type. You seem more of a speedy stabby.
Yeah, but I have friends who are not look gestures to the tall twink next to me.
Okay. I've got some more grimoires. One for fire, water, wind, earth magic. We got a couple of the mix and matches, some lightning grimoires, ice grimoires. Got this really cool gauntlet. You want an authentic Mediterranean chakram?
God damn it, TT. God.
Authentic
Venus
Mediterranean
chakram?
chakram?
That is definitely not a Mediterranean themed item. Anyways, I suppose if he's got a list of stats, I might be willing to look over. But, perhaps. I'm curious though, what is a chakram? Just because I want to see what this is.
So it's like a throwing weapon. It's like this. I mean, look at it. And he shows you it's this this sort of disc that's hollow in the center, looking almost sort of like a donut, with a bladed edge. that's meant for chucking. There's a very thin rod in the middle to make it easier to grab, but you're supposed to chuck it like a frisbee.
And what's it do?
Well, the chakram. It is a Dex plus Might plus 1 weapon. Does your high roll plus 4 physical damage. It's one-handed range, and attacks with this weapon have multi 2. So it can hit 2 targets at once.
That might be better for someone else. Actually, Arthur, that might be good for Arthur because I don't use might.
I'm gonna be real with you. Arthur's out of character. Arthur's already at the other booth. He doesn't like this guy.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm flailing because I don't know. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Parvis is that in my notes. He was going to restock at the next town. But like he's supposed to be out of your price range for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I am specifically looking at the very expensive items in my little book of sample weapons.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it was going to be that, but Doc, she doesn't like this guy.
Of course, he's an asshole.
You get another fabulous point too.
Oh yeah, you're sharing a scene with a villain. You're gonna get a lot of those today, by the way. But yeah. So Ross has a lot of goods that look good, but not super necessary right now, and the price tags do seem inflated.
Mm-hmm. So Doc will be like, "All right, you do have an adequately impressive stock, but gotta travel
But
light from now."
Bitch, you know my stock is flawless. Listen, why don't you go scrimp it some more, and when you've got some real buku bucks, we can talk about the real fancy shit.
That's what he talked with Flavian about last time. Was he implying fancy clothes?
He was basically getting you money so that when you go to Champagan, which is a marginally larger town, it's not quite a city, but it's on the cusp. And it's on the river, so it sees more trade. Basically, so that when you get to Champagan, you have enough money to buy some nice fancy outfits, and appear less common. Should you want to look really good for when you meet your, as he would put it in air quotes, dad.
Yep. Okay. I couldn't quite remember what the discussion was last time. Okay, that adds up.
Yep. I do want to note that the chakram he's selling is not specifically Xena's chakram, because I would have to make custom stats for her chakram to be suitably legendary and deadly.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at the fact, I caught it immediately. Mediterranean and chakram. I'm like, wait a minute.
The chakram is in here. It's in the thing. I just put Mediterra in front of it because, obviously that's something that exists in Mediterra. Because obviously some equivalent of Xena would be canon in my world.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I canonize all the things that have a profound effect on me when I'm young.
Well, there, Ross. It's been a
absolute pleasure, right? It's always good when we two are together. And it's like I've always said, Ross Weber and Flavian, we go together like gold and rough,
don't strain yourself,
tawdry burlap sack to hold gold in.
Sure, whatever helps you most. All right, Duck, let's get out of here. Got enough of this guy.
I just wanted to ask, did you guys go to you guys apprentice under the same merchant? Because you have the same color scheme.
It's a coincidence.
Because I just realized what your sprite standing next to it. It's like, oh, there's a hat with a gold trim. There's the blue around the chest area.
The really funny thing is, it is a coincidence, because I had Ross Weber's color scheme in mind well before this campaign was a glimmer in our respective eyes. And then when seeing colored Flavian, I was just like, oh, this is funny.
This is
I think
great.
the association's pretty simple. Green is money.
Yeah,
Yeah, green and gold, they're money colors.
Yep.
color of envy.
It's just
And
a
in
good
Ross
color
Weber's case,
combination.
In Ross Weber's case, it's also a Onceler reference, specifically the Onceler from the book.
Yep.
I eyedropper sampled the book for those gloves.
Oh, nice.
All right, you guys all go to Pierre's booth, and he's looking really downcast.
Excuse me, my good sir. I believe you have some
Oh.
fine wares for sale.
Yes, I do. Are you interested in this tunic? The coat, the jacket, the creepy mask.
I was actually interested in that creepy mask of yours, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, yes. If you fight something that's already scared, it's gonna make you be even more scared and make more slip ups.
Alright, I think I'm gonna grab that one myself. How much is it, my friend?
They're still in the loot box, aren't they?
Yeah, he's
yeah.
asking in character, out of character. I'm deducting the 650s in it.
650 zenith.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan, my friend.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of torn between the fox and the viper.
Well,
which one would you be more inclined, Flavian?
I bet that weird kid, if they were still around, would have liked seeing you in the Viper coat.
I do
Weird
think
kid.
I do think that Explorer's Belt is perfect for Grugan, just because I know the pain of a low initiative from armor. I think I want to go for the fox. That immune to slow seems tempting.
An excellent thing. Here, let me and as he quickly takes out a piece of measuring tape and quickly gets you, and then on the fly modifies the tunic to fit you better.
Oh, I'm tailoring to boot.
I mean, there's little point in selling you a coat if it doesn't fit well. I'm not the most skilled tailor in the world, but I know enough to get by.
Could I trade? Actually, now that I don't need this anymore, would you like to use this? Perhaps modify for another piece and offer to trade in my combat tunic. It's just the default one for the book.
Yeah, let me look at what the price of that would be.
150.
All right, he extracts exactly that from the price of the fox tunic.
Oh, cool. So it's only 500.
Yep. Normally in Fabula Ultima, they're supposed to give you half back, like most RPGs. Pierre Rancine is nice.
We appreciate them.
Yes.
All right, Pierre. I'll take the mask you got.
I'd love to give you that, but Art just bought it.
Oh, wait, sorry, I missed that.
No, you're good. No worries. I was also saying you're just like, this is gonna be funny.
Well, there you go. Guess you finally found a hot commodity, Pierre. Think about making some new ones in the future.
You're right, I should invest in more masks. When I go up to Champagne tomorrow, I'll make sure that's one of the things I look for.
You're heading there too, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, really, I need to get to Relicon. But I figure I'd stop there, see if they've got anything I can add to my wares. Always good to get some new merchandise on the table.
That it is.
Out of character. Was there anything else we had to do here besides like warn the people?
You probably should go to the inn and take a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still pretty beat
like
up.
you should. You should have an. You should
Oh,
have the
I
very
meant,
least
like,
have that
before,
to
you know,
restore.
if there was anything left to do in town before we moved on after, resting and stuff.
I think plot wise you're basically covered.
I don't think we had to check in with anybody for the revenants.
Yeah, because
Other than selling them to Ross, yeah.
then we could escort Pierre if we wanted to.
No.
Oh, okay.
Pierre is specifically the Ned Flanders to Flavian's Homer Simpson. While Ross is kind of the Mr. Burns, I suppose. So it's not a perfect metaphor.
Yeah. God, I don't want to meet Ross's Smithers.
Thankfully, he doesn't have one. Technically, the one who has a Smithers is Flavian.
Saving that tidbit for later. Do you think we should tell the herbalist to stop making those potions, or nah? Because, like, we
There might
probably
be
could
more
tell
out
him.
there.
There could be more out there. That's a good point.
But we did knock out a big chunk of them, as they took chunks out of us.
Took chunks.
It took chunks out of me.
Oh dear, are you all right, Flavian?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Just need a night in the inn.
Well, I hope you have a good stay.
Thanks. You, be careful on the road out there.
I will, and the same to you. I've heard there's brigands about these days. Why, word on the rumor mill is that they've raised poor Cabernet all the way to the ground.
Unfortunately, that's not a rumor. We passed through there. That's why we kind of smelled sort of smoky when we first arrived.
Woof, woof. All the more reason to get up north, I think.
Best to avoid the soldiers before they take your wares off you.
Say it's,
Soldiers?
Oh yes, it's Fourth Goblin War is kicking off. So Britannia
my!
decided to get all
He takes off his hat and puts it over his heart, and clearly looks very emotionally upset by this news. Last thing anyone needs is another war.
It is bad for business, isn't it?
Well, some people say that you can make a killing off of killing, but yeah, personally, it's not the kind of business I want to do.
trying not to think about all the money we made from selling the gear of the soldiers we murdered in their sleep.
Well, no worries. Just keep safe on the road, friend.
And the same to you! Hopefully those clothes will help you out!
Careful
I
with the
feel
F.
lighter already.
Be careful with the F word around him, Art. He'll just encourage him.
I like him. And he is full on dead eye contact. I like him.
All right. So if we have no further business, Well, I mean, you probably should tell the herbalist that the zombies are more or less taken care of.
Yeah. We could just say we do that, right?
Yeah, you can just say we do that. And then hit the end for an interlude scene and a recovery of valuable
Oh,
HP,
also,
IP, and MP.
someone should, stop by, like, if there's, like, a mayor or something, and be like, hey, just so you know, your neighbors got burned to the ground and they might be coming here next. See ya. Or do we think the hunting lodge would have done that?
They probably would
Mhm.
have.
Pierre, sorry, Philippe was talking about doing essentially that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize, it didn't occur to me until after the game last time. Oh, yes, Philippe Talbot. I hope nothing happens to him with the last name like that.
He's going to go for town. We'll find out.
No, to Devour, a completely different town.
Oh, Devour. My bad.
The pronunciation of it that way makes it more menacing.
How much does a night at the inn cost?
10 Zenit.
Or
And inns are no. I think it's just for the group. We can make it per, but it's still like a piddling small amount of Zenit.
yeah, especially after payday.
But I'm thinking like if I remember right, it's just for the group because that's how it is in Final Fantasy games. You go to the inn and it costs a small amount of money for you guys to stay one night and rest up.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right. So you guys have the opportunity to do an interlude scene to increase some bonds, modify bonds, etc.
Can I make a bond of annoyance with Ross Weber?
I think that would be a bond of hatred.
Yeah, probably.
That is how you would express that.
Not already have a bond with Ross? I thought my thing gave me.
I think you automatically have one because of rivals.
Yeah.
Because a lot of rivals depends on that bond and how you enact it. But you can strengthen that bond because I think it only starts at 1 or 2 ranks at most. It doesn't start fully fleshed out.
Yeah. Start with inferiority. Actually, I'm going to add for Duck a bond of affection, seeing, Duck having some squabbling too with Ross, trying. He's like, yeah, somebody gets what a jerk this dude is.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
actually going to do the same for Flavian. Say what?
They specifically say with their rival prodigies thing, you choose, you create a bond with them with one emotion chosen between admiration and inferiority. So you pick one of those two.
Yep.
And you can increase that, especially given that there are specific things about your bond coming into play.
And
Sorry, you were saying.
Duck was going to replace the bond of mistrust for Flavian to admiration. Because it's like, oh, you're not as bad as I thought you were now that I've encountered this jackass.
Yeah. Flavian's still keeping the bond of mistrust at the moment with Duck, but it's getting there. Which actually gives me a maxed out bond with Duck at this point.
Maxed out duck is a sentence.
I mean, if someone was a wayfinder or whatever it is with the animal bond, you could use a duck, probably.
Well, that is something I realized when I was reading the book, is that you can make bonds with like a country or an organization and stuff too.
Oh, neat. Well, that could be useful
Yeah,
for games that are more faction based.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna start a love-hate relationship with capitalism, Flavian?
To be fair, capitalism doesn't quite exist yet
Yeah.
That's mirth
because
and capitalism.
feudalism won't let it.
What, the rest of you guys for the interlude?
I'm thinking.
I'm gonna do a bond of loyalty with Art because you directed everybody very well during that fight with all the fucking zombies. And you didn't let anybody die, even though Flavian was trying real hard.
That's fair. Hmm.
No offense to Flavian, but
I feel that's very in character, though, for him, the least combat experience, to get hurt the most in that fight.
So I'm going to do a bit of a weird one. I'm going to do admiration for Mon Cher, because Mon Cher was really good at tearing those zombies apart, and yet soldier gotta give respect to a guy who could tear somebody apart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it wasn't a fight, it was just grocery shopping.
He had a hunger that only hands could satisfy.
Okay. And how about you, Mon Cher? What bond are you changing?
Nothing yet. Chair is built to be like really hard to earn the trust of. You know?
Fair enough.
So, Monsieur got the cards when they got Flyda handed into his mouth. Did we also keep the cards we got our fortunes?
No. Monsieur specifically did not have Helsing set, but rather just identical copies to them. Because
okay.
after he spat out his cards, she then revealed the three identical cards in her deck.
That makes
Otherwise, she kept her cards. She is not invested in you guys the way she is with other protagonists. She mainly met you because you were you had something very necessary to her that she had to make sure was taken care of properly.
a different protagonist, a yet to be protagonist.
Mm-hmm. You had her chariot.
Oh my
And
God,
she did
she
want
is
to
a-
help you in some
here.
way because she's a, she is a benevolent character, but she can only be involved in so many plots as a mastermind schemer, guys. And so she gave you guys a very minor prophecy to give you some something to aim for and something to hope for as you go on your own journey.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I imagine those cards will disappear once Monsieur actually figures out what his fortune was going to be. And if not, they'll hang with him forever.
And
Haunting him.
ever.
All right. Is our interlude scene finished?
I was kind of wondering if someone would ask about Dex fortune, but that's okay. Let's continue.
I wouldn't mind everyone asks about each other's fortune scene, but maybe we're not close enough to discuss it yet.
I mean, if we want to have that kind of a discussion, I'll talk about it. Sure, I don't mind. I got nothing to hide. You don't really have a whole lot of places to put things to hide either. You gotta have pockets and organs for that.
I mean, we could take a pouch and like string it up inside your rib cage so that you would have internal storage.
I don't need things in my organs or where my organs were. I appreciate the offer though.
You
If you
know the
want,
phrase "keep things close to the chest"? Keep it inside the chest.
I don't want to know what that'd feel like.
As an aside, I had an undead character that would do that, and it grossed everyone out.
I mean, it's excellent storage. There's nothing in there anymore.
So, if you want to talk fortunes, my fortune, my past was death, and I genuinely chuckled. Because the noise fortune teller lady is like, it doesn't mean literal death, but like, you know what I mean?
Sometimes it
Um,
does.
Sometimes it does, but a great and inescapable change was the gist, which I'm on the path that I'm on, and I'm not surprised too much by that. The present I got was an emperor, a protecting friend kind of a role, which I think I like to do. And then my future was a star, which is a connection to the divine, I think, and peace. So, thumbs up on that, I guess.
I mean, that's what you're aiming for.
I don't know what I'm aiming for. I just want to stop this bloody fucking war again. It's fucking stupid.
Mine isn't that, difficult to figure out. I'm sure you all heard it.
I was politely entertaining our young friend while your fortune was being read.
I'll tell you what was entertaining, or what was stupid, trying to entertain any of these fortunes in the first place. I mean, she gave me the Fool, the Moon, and Temperance. They're so general, everything she said, it could apply to anybody. The Fool. What does that even mean? No, fool.
That's just the name of the card, right? It's not like personal.
Oh, it's a dumb name for a card.
I hear sometimes they have different cards depending on like where they, were made and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have sometimes they have whole different names in Fairyland, but
Mm-hmm.
mine was interesting. The Devil as my past. Yeah. Hangman, that was not fun. That's not. Even with the description she was trying to give me, that didn't sound very encouraging. And then something about the Wheel of Fortune, and I'll be honest, I may have acted a little pissy in the moment because hit a little too close to truth, maybe. But if this is shit, if I'm careful, I might actually write this fucking curse. Oh, you didn't hear that.
A curse? What?
Oh, yeah, I was cursed and sent to, exiled out of Fairyland. Not too unheard of people like us, right, Grugan?
No, yeah. Not really.
I mean, maybe I can eventually go home and see family again and friends I left behind, but that gives a shrug. Who knows?
I mean, that's...
perks up and head swivels around. No one hear that?
I mean,
Yeah,
and if
probably
no one
doesn't.
else no one else wants to go over their fortunes, no worries. We can always have fun conversations of what's happened in the last 60 fucking years.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah,
hold
you
on,
probably
but-
need to catch up.
Monshare, what did you get?
Monshare
I
didn't.
don't know, nor do I care to.
But you do know. You coughed it up.
Exactly. He ain't saying shit.
I don't blame you. Whatever, Monshare. Like I said, don't put any stock into any of this stuff. It's all just vague stuff that can apply to anybody. Like, imagine you got, like, a sun or something as one of those cars. All it just means is that you're, like, a bright and sunny person or something like that. Obviously, you didn't get that car because that doesn't fit you, but, like, that's what it means. You know? That's just what anybody would think if they saw the card sun. It means nothing.
You really need to work on your pep talk ability.
Well, more into sales than I am pep talks, but you know, maybe I should think about that. A silver tongue is always a salesman's best friend.
Flavian just votes himself a true evil and becomes Midgheim's first motivational speaker.
Oh god.
A dark path.
I'm sure there is someone out there that has had a silver tongue in this setting.
Mm-hmm.
And a heart of gold.
If you wear the crown long enough, your blood turns purple. Wonderful. If our interlude is
Yeah, just as an aside, no one else heard that, right?
Heard the what?
Or what? Yeah.
No, that was me.
no, none of them
So-
heard the duck. None of them
Okay.
heard the duck. Or the goose, rather. It's a goose noise.
Yeah. Just
Wait,
gonna
it's not
say
a
that,
goose, damn it. It's a swan.
Swan.
Fucking
Yeah.
waterfowl, Jesus. It is specifically a swan honk. I looked that
Yeah,
up to try and specifically get that sound effect.
Duck is maybe at one point, like a couple of points, goes and checks the window. It's like checking outside and like looking for something, but doesn't say anything about it.
Barnaby still is around. Hunting duck.
if it ends up becoming Barnaby, I'm just gonna quit.
Then time travel makes you the Barnaby.
Oh no.
Alright. Well, what a wonderful interlude we just had. And congrats, it's another day.
Ooh.
You wake up in the town of Alsace, nice and refreshed. As you go out, you see both Pierre Rancine and Ross Weber packing up their respective stands to turn them into carts.
Fair enough.
Oh.
You could say something to them. You could talk to any of the characters that you know in this town, or we can just move on.
I know that you purchased a cart yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
Did you purchase anything to pull it?
No, I think that was something we were going to do.
What now?
This cart, how are we pulling it?
Oh,
There are stables here that we can purchase horses from.
Well, unfortunately, looking around Alsace, there are not, in fact, a stables.
Bergen.
You might have to use manpower for a bit.
Fine.
The wheels are taller than I am. I'm not going to be able to pull this.
Moncher's pretty big. The two of you could probably do it together.
Oh, no doubt. He's going to grumble the entire time, though.
Yeah.
Maybe we should walk
Well-
alongside and not ride, because that might be insult to injury.
What? Oh, yes, of course, right. Oh, who would do such a
Flavian,
thing?
Flavian says, having already set all of his shit inside.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well put your stuff in there. Just, if you make me pull
Yeah,
your
well-
ass with it, I'll probably kick you.
Yeah, I'm fine marching a while.
All right. And so you guys head off. As you're heading off, Ross Weber makes his cart and himself disappear in a poof of green smoke, while Pierre
Go
Rancine
off.
does everything the mundane way because he's a perfectly normal human being. And off you guys go. Traveling along the path. Luckily, you are not accosted by any lions. I'm not going to make you roll a travel check. And you make it to the very large village of Champagan. Not quite a city, but a very sizable village. When you arrive down here, seeing some fairly nice manors. In this area, you see some farmland. There's a market district in the center of town. And then, towards the river, there are several fortified towers and buildings. Champagan is not a large city, so it doesn't have like a huge barracks full of soldiers, but it is important enough that during times of crisis, there are soldiers who get temporarily garrisoned here to make sure the city is defended. There are some places to note. First of all, Champagan is connected both to a bridge that actually crosses into the territory of Bretance and the kingdom of Anglesex, and another bridge that leads to the town of Relicon. To the north of it, between it and Relicon, is the Guiviero River. The town has a knight stationed in it, Sir Sangren, a very old knight of good esteem. They have an inn called the Fox and Crow, a smithy, an old mill, a temple of the Guiviero River, and the market district.
Do they have a stable somewhere?
They do, in fact, have stables. There are enough nobility and soldiers and farmers and traders who come through here that you can, in fact, get some horses. If there's one area you would like to visit first, feel free to tell me. And don't worry about this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about what?
Look to the.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry
look
about
to
that.
the
Don't
west
worry
side
about
of the camp.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that thing. Don't worry about it.
Should we get a feel for the place? See if they know what's coming. Also, probably somewhere to stick this while we're in town.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wouldn't be a bad idea.
I mean, getting the feel for a place is probably either the market district or like an inn usually. Those are where, people congregate the most. Or temples too.
We just went to an inn, though. We just got out of there, so maybe we check out the market district. Yeah, then we also just did shopping.
Yeah, we do need to get some horses. Maybe some ox.
All right. It sounds like Market District's where we're hitting up first.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You guys arrive down here. And somehow, despite setting off a bit later than you, both Ross Weber and Pierre Rancine have beaten you to it.
Mm.
I guess they just know the better roads.
Well, one teleported.
Yeah, true. Yeah, to be fair.
So
Fucking
the old
nerf Ross.
As
Granny-
as
Right. Oh, sorry.
as you enter the market square, it is much like back in Bourgeois, oddly sparse. You can tell that normally this would be a place that's much more bustling. There'd be more vendors in the various market stalls and booths, and a lot more customers. But a lot of people do seem to be staying in at the moment, with the few who are out and about looking very cautious and perhaps just a bit nervous. And much like in Bourgeois, the reason is very apparent, as though not as, heavily infesting the town as it was in Bourgeois, there are several little platoons and squads of Bretonche knights walking the streets, including one fairly large procession up over here. But there are 5 specific little shops to go to, as well as Ross and Pierre's, although both of them are here to restock on things.
So can we see this group over here already?
Oh, yes, I mean, like, you're not close enough to fully make out who they are, but you do see a very large platoon of knights sort of hanging out over here in this sort of commons area next to the fountain. There's 3 knights at the head of it that are wearing more complex and probably expensive armor than the rest. They've all got breastplates, for example, instead of just tabards over chainmail. And they look fairly fancy, but you aren't close enough yet to get a good look at them. The one thing that you can tell from all of them is that they are all dressed in red, and most of them bear the symbol of Engelsex, that little white Y shape over the red field of red on their livery and their armor.
Oh, I want to stab them so fucking bad.
The one interesting thing is that, unlike in Bourgeois, the soldiers look a little on edge too. Like, everyone is kind of uncomfortable. It's clear that while the soldiers are here and they're kind of occupying the town, they don't have as strong a grip on it as they did in Bourgeois, partly because Bourgeois was a much smaller town than Champagne is.
Well, let's see what we can't do about getting some oxen or something. Horses. I don't. Do you get horses out here? I haven't seen a horse in a second.
Oh, Pierre had some.
Oh, Pierre had some. All right.
Yep, horses do exist in Midgard.
Well, I'm not saying they don't exist in Midgard, but I don't know about Frankenstein. I'm a Breton soldier. Ex-Breton
They're
soldier.
all over. They're all over the counter. Some of them eat people.
Yeah, I did hear something about how down in Mediterranean, some horses you gotta watch out because they will, eat you.
That's true here too.
It's true of all
For
horses.
as long as there have been horses, man has wondered, what if it ate people?
No, as long as there have been horses, man has known that eats people. It might not do it now. It might not do it inside of me. But that thing eats people. As long as there is evil, there will be horses. Anyway. Duck. Terrible idea. So, yeah, 5 stands with various merchants, as well as specifically Ross and specifically Pierre.
I guess we check out the vendors.
Okay. Which one do you want to go to first? Do a little clicky circle-y thingy.
I guess this old guy we're nearest.
Yeah, he's
Okay, trifold tent. Alrighty dighty. Okay. So here you see most of what they are selling are knickknacks of dubious use and quality. As you are browsing through these kind of useless tchotchkes, you do hear, you do see like 2 families of Frankish citizens, and the parents are talking to each other while the kids look over the various useless baubles. How long until Dame Sangren gets back? We sent word of her father's passing 2 weeks ago, and she should be here as soon as she is, but apparently she's still in Melonbury. There's more of them every couple of days. Should we move? Should we head over to Relacom? Perhaps it won't get as bad as all that. And that's what you get from that booth.
I'm sorry, I have to. Did I get anything interesting?
Do you know what? I should do this before the roll, but I'm gonna give you a +4 bonus because I have experience in robbing schmucks. Yeah, you get 50 zenit between the two families.
Oh no, I was
really-
not. I wasn't robbing the families. I was trying to steal like a little bauble from the store.
Oh shit. Okay, that's better.
God.
Damn, Duck.
Somehow, while
she's not cruel.
somehow while stealing from the tchotchkes, you don't know how it happens because you're doing it without looking super hard. You managed to get 15 different ducks and 1 swan. They're all little wooden carvings of ducks, clearly for kids to play with. Some of them are somewhat crudely painted. The swan, interestingly enough, is black with a red beak. Or bill, I should say.
Duck is going to put those back on the shelf, but is going to take.
What the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
Are we getting invaded by the War of the Worlds?
You hear a very terrifying honk, Duck, as you put down the black swan.
Look at the swan. Go fuck you and pick it up. But she is going to. She is going to follow up on her other impulse and sneak. She's be like, "Hey, here," and pass the kids some of the wooden ducks.
They smile and happily thank you, and then run up to their parents and show what the nice merchant lady gave them.
Duck is already gone. Alright, so I guess I'm just gonna put in my equipment or my backpack a swan.
A wooden black swan. Okay. Where are we going to next?
Well, that one wasn't quite what I was looking for.
Orange roof. Okay. You go here, and there's a lot of food, particularly meat. And the specialty of the house are Bork bites. They cost 5 zenit apiece. It's a tasty bit of salt-dried meat. You can toss one out as an action in combat to force one non-sapient, i.e. incapable of speech, creature that is in crisis to make a double will save of 16. If it fails, it immediately flees combat with its tasty treat.
Okay, we gotta get a couple of these.
What exactly now is a bork?
Why, it's a sound a dog makes! Bork! Just a tasty bit of niblets for your dog. Just a whole bunch of gristle and tasty salt-dried garbage animal parts. There's a lot of anus in each one. So much anus.
A charming.
Duck slightly lowers the bit that she was going to try nibbling on away.
That ain't right.
Right.
Essentially medieval sausages.
Mon Cher is judging the food.
It's like our turns. That's where you draw the line, friend.
Yep.
I mean, oh god, I'm not gonna.
I'll pickle a corpse,
I mean,
but
it's
I'm
not
not
like
going to eat
Monsieur
its
eats the asses.
butthole.
Yeah, he doesn't have that class. Gosh.
That's why he's alone.
God.
So yeah, that's what's at the orange roof.
How much were they?
5 zenit apiece.
Okay.
So you could build up a sizable amount of them for not too much.
5 zenit per. Okay, yeah, I'll get 4.
Mm-hmm.
20 gold. Over.
Flavian's gonna buy 2.
Yes. All right. Where to next?
Oh, there's a booth to the north of us, and if we go there, we might be able to listen in on the big procession of loud guys. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Alright. I'm not going over here. You guys can go over there if you want. I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay here.
Wait, going
Where are
more.
they avoiding?
Ross.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Okay. As you go to this place, Long Roof Inn, you see a man struggling to keep 2 horses in their respective stalls. Upon further inspection, they don't look much like horses. They have they're long-legged quadrupedal mammals, but they have long tails with bushy tips like those of an ox or a lion. Really mangy, raggedy fur, pronounced underbites with big tusks, weird long ears, hooves that are more like those of a goat than the single hoof of a horse. And like after watching them for a bit, you realize that each of them has 2 dumps on their head, one between their eyes and one between their ears, of what look to have been antlers or perhaps horns. Come on. Aren't you supposed to be? You are not acting the way I thought unicorns would act.
Would any of us know that these are not unicorns?
If someone would like to make a double insight check.
Why not?
I'm going to say this is a 12 difficulty. If you have anything to justify why you would know a lot about different arcane creatures, you can tell me, and I can offer you that. And like, if you want to figure out some way to sort of justify kind of knowing it a different way, that's also fair. You know, using a different stat. If for some reason willpower would make more
Would
sense for you, you can do that.
Would Deck have seen this being like used as mounts in wartime, considering her previous time as a veteran?
Not as mounts. No, they
Not in Fairyland.
not in Fairyland. They're native to the mortal plane. But given that you worked in the fairy courts, you might have seen it on heraldry. I will give you a +2 bonus for that.
So 14.
Okay. All right, so Duck, you know that these are Yales. They are related to unicorns, but they're also a bit closer to unicorns' distant relatives, the behemoths and catoblepasses, in that they have a far more surly temperament. They're omnivorous, whereas unicorns are mostly herbivorous. And the big point of difference between a Yale and a unicorn is that while unicorns have have one alicorn horn, Yales have two, which form a sort of crescent shape out of their head. Clearly, these Yales have had their horns sawn off.
Okay. Good. I guess that is their temperaments are they're upset they haven't been getting a proper meat diet.
And Yales are they're surly. You know, unicorns themselves are also way more aggressive than people generally tend to realize, than their reputation have you believe. But Yales are known to be aggressive, antisocial, and just generally like not easily domesticated animals.
I don't want to take up too much time this game, but Duck has an idea.
Go for
Could
it.
I approach and go, oh, hold on. Someone tell you these saying they were unicorns.
Yeah, that green fellow out there, he said he had these unicorns, and the unicorn horns grow back, and if I just took care of them, I'd get fresh alicorn horns I could sell.
That's not true at all, is it? They don't grow back, right?
The horns of unicorns, Yales, and behemoths and catoblepasses do not grow back.
Well, that
You can at best shave them a little bit because the outer layer of alicorn will regenerate over time. But if you saw the horn off completely, it's done.
Well, that explains it. You got fleeced by Ross Weber.
Huh?
These are Yales. Cousins to unicorns, so some people might call them distant unicorns.
They got the long tail. They got the long. Oh, this fucker bit me.
Yeah. Here, they're hungry, and well, use 2 of the Bork bites and feed 1 to each.
The Yales eat the Bork bites, and both of them have this expression when they start chewing them of like, oh shit, that's good. And they immediately like start paying very close attention to you, like a zoo animal that knows that the people visiting will feed it and looks very insistently and pleasantly at them to try and get them to do so. Like, I don't know if you ever gone to a zoo where they let you feed the giraffes, but it's really fun seeing these huge looming creatures lower their heads very expectantly and sweetly like, do you have a weird graham cracker for me to eat?
Yeah. My years ago, my sister's boyfriend at the time got kissed by a giraffe because we went to one of the zoos that did that, and he put the carrot stick in his mouth. And just down comes the giraffe going, that's my food.
You can't eat that. That's mine.
But yeah, Duck will knowing that she is small compared to these things and they're omnivorous and hungry, she will cautiously but try to pat them on the snout and try to get him to calm down a bit. I don't know if she's ever had experience dealing with gales or livestock, but
So he looks at them and he's like, huh, well, Yales can regrow their horns, can't they?
no, neither can unicorns or behemoths or catoblepuses that are also
I got
related.
these. So I spent 1,000 Zenit for nothing? Oh, damn it. Back to drinking in the gutter for me.
I mean, looking at these CT, do these seem like they would pull our wagon?
They can. They're capable. They're unicorns are surprisingly strong for how live they are. And Yales are sort of to unicorns what donkeys are to horses.
Okay. Just kind of.
So yes, they. If you kept them, well fed and well cared for, they might well pull your wagons.
Before you dive back into the bottle, let me go talk to my friends. We were looking for some steeds for our wagon, but might be able to, help you recoup some of that losses. Which, again, it's Ross Weber. You don't tell your friends. Don't deal with him. He's just a scam artist. He probably
I
saw the
will. I'll
horns
tell
off
them
himself.
not to buy anything from him unless they're really sure it's a good deal.
It's a start. Okay, so Duck will waddle her way over to the group. Ross sold this guy a pair of dehorned Yales, so told them they were unicorns, fleeced them pretty bad, and they would be honestly perfect for the carriage.
That old scam.
Have you done this scam before, or is it just something you've heard of?
I've heard of it before.
When the little dial on the bomb thing dips a little bit further down after raising up.
I will say I don't know
Not really.
if you've actually done this scam yourself, Flavian, but
Yeah.
you definitely know that Ross Weber has a habit of selling Yale horns as unicorn horns. Because Yales are less rare. They have 2 horns of lesser quality, and they're less attuned to the arcane, and thus easier to subdue and chop the horns off of.
And you can tell the difference between a unicorn horn and a Yale horn is if Yale horns curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
While unicorns are straight.
Yeah. But enough people, including nobles, have been suckered by this particular scam, which Ross Weber did not invent, that there are depictions of unicorns with curvy horns as a result. And I think there are a couple of species that do have like big sabery horns. If I remember, let me look at my unicorn heads.
This just made it sound like a big game hunting lodge.
Yeah. So like there is one specific species of unicorn that does have like a really big curvy horn. Well, there's 2. But they're not quite the same as Yale horns in overall curve and shape. And it's definitely a
the
higher
very
quality of
bottom Yale.
alicorn. Mm-hmm. That's based on one specific heraldic Yale image, actually. But yeah, like unicorn horns are the big tell is that like their alicorn is of a much higher, more arcane quality, often a little bit more shiny and glittery looking, whereas Yale horns are very dull and rough, closer to a rhino horn than the very pearlescent ivory look of a unicorn horn.
If you think they'd be good steeds, I'd be willing to recompense him for the amount he's paid for them.
Did he say it was 1,000 for both
He-
or 1,000 each?
He paid $1 million Zenit.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus!
He thought they were
Christ.
unicorns. He thought they were unicorns.
Oh my God.
Do you know how rare unicorns are?
Well,
I don't know how.
He also thought the horns could grow back. You know how much money you could make if unicorn horns could grow back?
Well, we're not running a charity, Duck, and that guy needs to recuperate some money regardless. So
Yeah, no, it's just I'm not gonna help. We can't give him, even if we were generous enough to pool all our funds. We don't have $1 million in it.
That's fair. My ears aren't quite working. I thought she said 1,000's in it, and I'm like, oh, I can take it.
Yeah, so did I. But
well, Flavian.
well, your mic crackled a little bit when you delivered that line, TT. So it wasn't. We weren't sure.
It's wonderful.
Rugen's gonna look at Flavian and go, well, Flavian, this is your wheelhouse. Make a deal.
Yeah,
all right,
but
let's
make it a
go.
fair one.
Let's go talk this out.
Waddle on back.
Oh, please tell me you've got the money.
Now hold on there. How much you thinking we're bringing?
Paid $1 million Zenit. I mean, granted, they're not actual unicorns, and unicorn horns don't grow back, and neither do Yale horns, but I assume that you'll be somewhere close to that.
Hmm. Fortunately, it's going to be nowhere near that amount, but we can help give you a little bit of, seed money to perhaps get some regular horses to, stable and sell.
It's better than nothing. All right, what can you offer?
Flavian, what would be a good price for a pair of steeds? Both asking you and the DM, the storyteller.
How about
About 500 apiece would be, a fair price.
I was gonna say 1,000 for the whole thing. How about we take them off you for thousands in it? We got a deal. We got a deal.
That's enough. I can make something out of that.
Yeah. So
And
each of us tossing
congrats.
200.
Are we each tossing in 200 for that?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah, that'd be even split. And Duck will actually go and purchase more Bork bites because they seem to like those.
They do. And congrats, you have 2 steeds to pull your wagon for your fast travel option.
We got that much earlier than last time.
Mm-hmm. Since we got a much bigger map this time.
It's true.
All right. Okay, so that's what you can do with this one. These 2 are left, and then of course Ross, Pierre, and our good friends over here by the commons area.
We should go check out those other 2 stores. But
We should. Sorry. We should.
Okay, so I'm not stopping by Mr. Fancy Pants. We'll stop over here later, but I'm not going near
Yeah.
that man. I might kill him.
That would be bad in the middle of town.
well, we know he's got 100 gold on him, so or 1 million gold. Although he's probably got some. He probably teleports it to some vault or something stupid like that.
He does. He's a
Where-
bastard that way.
Where do you think he got the money to pay for all those hands?
Fucking wizards.
The natural reaction to wizards. Okay. Yellow and orange tart. You see a merchant who is trying to sell iron horseshoes. Come on, everyone knows Goblin War's coming. That means there's going to be lots of goblins running around killing people, and what you need is iron. And ever since the blacksmith stopped using iron in his works, I'm the only source you've got. Look at these quality horseshoes. A goblin comes at you, you can throw it and bash its brains right out. And I'm the only one who's got it. You go over to the blacksmith, you're just going to get shit made out of copper and bronze, but I've got iron.
Why is the blacksmith not using iron?
That is the question, my friend. 3 weeks ago, the guy stopped selling iron products, made a whole big stink about it. Just after these lovely knights from Bretagne came in to help us with this Goblin War problem.
We're just passing through town, but was there a goblin problem in town? Didn't hear much about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, You never hear much about the things that go bump in the night. They come at dark when everyone's asleep, and they steal your kids. That's why you need these horseshoes. Put them on your doors, and they can't enter.
Oh, I hear it's actually kind of a mix-up of what goblins actually do. I hear goblins go in and steal children's clothes because, where else are they going to get clothing that fits,
Oh, they're perverts! Making our children naked! All the more reason to buy my horseshoes!
Duck just walks away. Never mind. I tried.
Yeah, he's a real asshole, don't worry about it.
He's a good victim to pull a prank on.
Does iron actually work on goblins?
If I touched it, it would hurt.
Well,
Yeah.
iron works on most fairies. Asterisk. There are some that are immune, and among exiled goblins, one of the major exiled goblin clans is Clan Ironshoes. Descended from Bandit King Ironshoes, one of the first fairies to realize that the whole basis of their weakness to iron is psychosomatic. The first one to realize, hey, wait a minute, there's no actual reason iron should hurt us. And thus the first to become immune to iron. Bandit King Ironshoes crafted himself a pair of iron shoes, declared himself no longer aligned with either of the two fairy courts, and proceeded to cause a huge ruckus, including kicking many noblemen to death with his beautiful fairy-burning iron shoes before he was banished from Fairyland. And became a sort of folk hero to many of the exiled goblin clans. Had several children, which in turn had several children, and became one of the sort of like fucking Genghis Khan in that probably a fourth of all exiled goblins can trace themselves to Bandit King Ironshoes at this point, to some degree, and as a result, many of them have inherited his immunity to iron. So among Fairyland goblins, weakness to iron is still very common, but among exiled goblins, it's far less so. It's more spotty. And it's not just goblins, because goblins also, interbreed and marry with orcs and bugbears and other, exiled boogeymen. So orc lineages that are immune to iron and all that, who can trace themselves back to the Bandit King Ironshoes.
So basically, Grugan needs to get some goblin in him.
No. No.
So technically this guy isn't selling wrong information. It's just that iron isn't quite as sure a way to keep goblins out of your house as you might think. But it is a way to keep Archfey out, because very few, if any, of them have the immunity.
would Duck have that? And she's, originally from Fairyland, but she did stay with the Grumboob's forces for some time. Would she still be susceptible? Or could it be something she's still working on?
It could be something she's still working on. I do think the fact that she was exiled and cursed, and has spent a lot of time among the mortals, enough to have like friends who are thieves in the mortal realm, some of which might be human. Duck might be on her way to forming an immunity to iron.
Okay.
Last is our blue and white tarp over here, the Mothra egg, as I put it in my notes. And here you do see some very modestly priced jewelry and fancy garments being sold at heavy discounts, as the merchant sort of sighs because most of the nobility have been staying in their houses for the last few weeks. If you would like, you can pay 300 zenit to add a fancy nobleman's or noblewoman's outfit to your glamour as an option to use instead of the current soldier glamour, or yourself but with a mustache glamour that you guys have.
Yeah, Dux was like, she looked like a kind of frumpy farmer's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drop these in it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Flavian's gonna buy that.
Same.
I just can't see your duds.
Yeah, might as well grab some. You never know if you're gonna have to talk to a noble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fancy outfit.
Yeah, I'll post it in the loot box.
Okay.
Just like the last game. I just gotta not sell it this time.
Oh, as an option. Nice.
Mm-hmm. So you still have your stock option. You can just choose which of the two you present.
Putting that under accessories.
In Flavian his head though, he's definitely thinking though, like, Ross really tried to overplay how expensive this was gonna be.
To be fair, looking at the prices, originally these went for 2,000 zenit apiece.
Oh, okay.
The merchant has been marking them down because for 3 straight weeks, everyone's been staying to their houses as much as possible while these Breton soldiers are walking about. And so he has not gotten a lot of business like he should be.
That makes
And
sense.
was there anything like, is it all mundane stuff, or is there like enchanted rings and stuff?
Nothing that gives you fancy bonuses with this, other than just the fact that you'll look like you're rich.
Okay.
Well,
My mouse is hovering over the thievery button.
I figured you guys just got some good upgrades the last couple of sessions. I don't wanna like make you like to constantly just be chucking stuff out. I want you to enjoy your stuff a bit first.
Mm-hmm.
I was just asking because that was like what it was like the last couple of times where it's like, oh,
Mhm.
jewelry shop, they have stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Normally is. But yeah. So there you go. And as you're there, Ross is like, "Hey, Flavian, your dad's over there!" And he's pointing at the knights. And he's also got a paper bag with like red and white stripes, filled with salted roasted nuts,
Oh my god.
which he is popping into the black void that serves as his head, excitedly, like a movie theater munching on popcorn, while he tries to get you to go over to the knights over there.
Wait, he's the red armor. That would mean, oh boy.
I hate him so much. How can you stand him?
He doesn't.
Art, how do I look?
Like someone wearing fancy clothes and doesn't know how to wear them.
That's not good. Wait, but he's in that armor too, which means he's on the. I guess I should have figured that he's on the enemy's side and all.
Generally speaking, it take like Lean says, like generally speaking, when a king goes to war, you need to like be the one to say that. If it's the same guy as last time, he's a bit of a bastard. Don't worry about it.
King.
I assume that's what he's talking about. Big fancy guy. Knowing that asshole from like the 10 minutes we've interacted. I'm assuming that's the king. Well, it might just be a general. I don't know.
No, that's Sir George II.
Wasn't he king? No, he's not king. There's someone else, right? He's just a Garston.
Yes.
Yeah, Art, you would know that. Well, you wouldn't actually. You would know that neither of the Sir Georges was involved in the last Goblin Slayer War, last Goblin War. George the First, because he's dead. He was dead at the time, and he's dead now. And George the Second was, you believe, either in Selpict or Rustlevac for it.
Yeah. So that makes a little more sense with Garston being here. He was over in, I think it was Wrestlepec back in the last one. We kind of just got involved because the last Goblin War was starting to go over the borders and being a whole thing. So he's probably glory hunting knowing him.
Yeah, you know him, huh?
Know of him, yeah. And it's like a big fancy name back home back in the day. Assume that hasn't changed given the fact he's literally leading an army of men into town. Bit of a, and like he like looks around because there are actual soldiers around, so he leans in a little more. Bit of a had a rumor back on the battlefield that he's a bit of a whiny bitch. But that's just between you and me. Pats him on the shoulder.
I can't say I've heard that one.
It's 50 years old probably at this point, you know what I mean? But no,
He's way older than that.
Art's 50 years old dead.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. No worries. It's like, well, he's the second, so he's got to make himself bigger and more pompous than his dad was. Got a chip on the shoulder kind of a thing.
Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Are the others not around for our conversation?
They, two of them seem to be hanging out with Pierre because they fucking hate Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Grugan walked a big circle around this entire place to get there.
Yeah.
Huck's hanging out by the well.
Kind of keeping an eye out on the soldiers, but acting like she's, getting some water.
And Muncher was just saw a bunch of soldiers and was like, yeah, Grugan had a good idea. And just followed him.
So, like, if he's leading all those soldiers and everything, we don't want to go near that, right?
It wouldn't be wise. You'd be embarrassing yourself.
Why do I keep calling you Ross? Flavian, it's your dad. He's here. Come on, man, you're gonna let him pass you by? As he puts more nuts into his mouth. You can't do that, man. Yeah, we can't let this one go. You gotta say hi to your dad.
Art would probably put a hand on Flavian's shoulders like he's trying to get you to do something to make him embarrassing. That's why he's got the nuts. This is a show for
I'm
him.
not. If there was a roll for a deception check in this game,
Yeah, you're right. Now's not the time. Definitely not the time right now while he has a whole army in front of him and is not going to. Yeah.
If you wanted to have a chat with him, usually at the evening points when they'll have a little time to relax, make plans, etc., that would be a better time to approach him. But look, Flav, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know who your dad is. If that's your dad, I apologize to the best of my benefit. But a really quick way to let me get back to rest will be killing him later on. Have fun with that. Goes to go find the others.
as you guys decide not to do that, Flavian, suddenly there's a poof of green smoke about 4 feet above your head as 5 chickens fall out of the ether around you, flapping their wings and clucking furiously before they scatter.
Ah! Yeah, curse you, Ross. Curse you. Yeah, whatever. Forget about it. Forget about it.
What are the rest of y'all doing?
I'm hanging up over here.
Yeah, same.
I'm talking. I'm chatting with with our friend here.
Duck may
Let
or
me
may
tell
not be casing Ross's tent.
I haven't found a lot of enchanted stuff yet, but I'm getting some very good mundane items. Everyone's got lots of discounts. I guess they're all nervous because of these soldiers.
I don't blame him. How was the trip over here? He's
Oh,
making
really
some-
nice. Oh, you know, the Forest of Arden's beautiful. I've been by a couple of times, but every time I'm just like, wow, what a lovely, lovely natural area. It's not better than, have you ever been by the Briarwoods? There's a foreboding set of greenery over there, let me tell you.
That's a question, DM. Have I?
Yes. You probably haven't been in the Briarwoods, but you've definitely been past them in the past. And they have been for a good long while now, just not only foreboding, but also a very clear set of wormwoods. Clearly affected by the presence of a dragon living in them somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
The mark, like generally when there's arcane creatures in a forest, the trees grow hardier and a bit gnarlier. But it's particularly pronounced with dragons, to the point where they have their own name. When a dragon is living in or nearby a forest, the forest gets very overgrown and very inhospitable for humans.
Yeah, I've been by. Didn't go in. You know. Obviously.
Yeah, it's just, I swear, each tree there, they've got like 15 thorns for every leaf.
So, do you have anything, like, I know you said you didn't get a lot, but do you have anything new that you didn't have last time?
Not yet, but tell me what you're looking for. I can see if I can get it. If not here, then when I go to Relishon in a couple of days. Are you looking for, like, armor? Weapons? Nice amulet?
Out of character, I'm not sure. Armor that doesn't, you know, make me go the speed of nothing would be cool. But I also...
So some more lightweight armor, heavy and durable.
Yeah. But I think I don't know if I actually said that I was going to buy that belt, but I was going to.
Get that belt. You have it.
Okay. No, other than that,
He gladly sells it to you.
Like,
And you make so a lot of nice small talk. It's clear, like as you talk to Pierre Rancine. One, he's just a very nice guy. A little bit eager to please, which might come off as a little annoying or just inviting abuse to people. But also, like, he's not out here to make a buck specifically. He wants to make money so he can live, but he also likes making sure people are satisfied with his products. He sells things. He likes seeing people get what they need.
Yeah, he's the weird, honest merchant that you don't see otherwise. Let's see. But yeah, I like him. Pierre is my friend.
Yeah. My notes for Pierre was that if I could do this impression well, he would be voiced by Dom DeLuise.
Sir.
That's perfect.
Unfortunately, I can't do a good Dom DeLuise, so I've been doing an Ed Wynn,
It's close.
which is also good.
Otherwise, Grugan's just like making small talk, seeing if he knows anything about the soldiers, and also watching all of the soldiers to make sure that they're not getting anywhere close to him.
I don't know much about the people. I recognize the heraldry of two of those guys. They're of the Garston family. George Garston, the first famous dragon slayer. I think they got a statue of him over in the temple. Traveled all over Midgard. Real legendary sort of fella. If I had to guess, I would think the guy with the dragon slayer armor over there, the big spiky suit of armor. I think that might be his son, George Garston II.
And
Real paragon of humanity. I think he's like a couple 100 years old at this point.
Grugan, if you look at Muncher's eyes, because I'm pretty sure that's the only like similar thing, you can see they're just like pinpricks right now. He just sort of
The other one of the Garston heraldry. I'm not sure. I don't know if the Garston family has retainers. He might be a son of Garston II. I've heard. I mean, not to spread rumors, but I've heard that Garston II's a bit of a philanderer. And then the other guy, the guy with the dark armor with them, the thing I noticed is that he doesn't have the Y symbol of Angelsex. He's got the symbol of Heorotshire on his heraldry. The northern Bretance kingdom.
Strange bunch.
Yeah.
As long as they stay over there, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I've taken it from what I've gleaned on the people talking about the situation. They've been here for about 3 weeks. They've set up a sort of temporary fort outside the city limits, and apparently the Garston showed up about 2 weeks ago trying to get an audience with the knight of the city, but he passed away. The knight, that is, not Garston.
And they've just been hanging around waiting for something?
Yeah, well, apparently, if Sir Sangren is no more, his estate and his title should be inherited by his eldest daughter, Dame Sangren. But she's over in Melonbury and hasn't gotten back here yet for the funeral and in the passing of the ring and all that. So I guess they're waiting for her to talk about something?
Strange.
Yeah, this whole business is strange, especially, if it is a war.
You think
I mean, it went badly last time. Yeah, you think they'd have better things to do than just sitting around in this town? I mean, it's a human town. Are they thinking they're gonna find goblins here?
Can I make some sort of check, or just think back on how I know military operations work? Do I think that they're waiting here for some sort of permission?
I'm not even going to make you do a check because you've worked for Fairy military very extensively in your backstory. And you also would know how past Goblin Wars have gone down. So, like, when you have an army from another country and they aren't entering another, and they aren't specifically waging war on that country yet, but rather rooting out other people in there, which happens more often than you would think. One of the things they often do is try to get permission from the nobility. They want the people in power's grace to go on their little rampage. Like in past Goblin Wars, often they would get the noblemen of the different countries on their side, and the noblemen would help them pillage their own people. That these wars are really more of a class war than just a race war. In which case, it would not be illogical to think that George Garson II is here to recruit.
Okay. You'll since you're the closest Moncher, and we're looking at each other, you'd notice that he's got a glimmer in his eye too, that he's just like, oh, that's not good.
I see.
This whole thing makes me nervous. I can't claim to have met very many goblins myself, but I mean, we're all people at the end of the day, right?
Most of us are, yeah. I can't imagine that anybody would, be any different just because of what they are. Just trying to get through the day like anybody else.
Yeah. It's just not right. But that's why I didn't go into politics.
Well, since you're traveling, be careful and take care of yourself.
You too. It's strange. You just sound like you're very capable. Although, as my mother would say, we gotta put some meat on those bones.
Yeah, I'm working on it. He says as he walks off. I don't know why the Glamour did this. Mostly because my party members asked me to do it because it's funny. But he's a little irritated about the Glamour itself.
Magic has a
Maybe
sense
we
of
can-
humor.
Maybe we can find someone that can tweak it.
Absolutely
Open up
can.
the character editor.
In patch 4, they'll add a mirror that you can look at to change your character look.
Yeah. Oh, Grugan's gonna come up to the well where everybody else is hanging out, and he's going, so I know why the rabble over there's hanging out. And he's gonna tell
Can I
him
annex this?
he's gonna tell him what he figured out.
Makes sense. Still too early in for us just to go blatantly charging in. Won't be declared as an act of war. Explains the uneasy tension, too.
Yeah, it's not full-blown war yet.
It's a war against the... It's a war against the goblins, it's not a war against Francaine, officially. Yet. Yes. I'm also just going to put... since Art's come to the well, he has just been staring, watching this parade of troops.
They're structured like a parade on the map, but my view is that they're kind of most of them are just sort of sitting around on benches bumming. George and his subordinates are both sort of alert and sort of look on the lookout for people, but the rest of them are just chilling as they're waiting for the third week in a row to get an audience with a person in charge.
So you're saying as long as that the Knight Heiress isn't here, they're just gonna sit around.
They'll sit around for a while. They might leave. Might decide that if the current royalty of Frankish reign is so quote-unquote irresponsible not to bury her own father, they might just help along with establishing royal rule. And then it would be a flat-out war between the two nations. But I think they're going to try to wait it out at least a little while longer. They don't have the resources to full-on go after him like you'd want to for a proper war.
Did any of the characters kind of raise an eyebrow when Art made the "your father" comment?
Yeah, I don't think the rest of you knew that information yet.
Yeah, Grugan just kind
Did
of
I say your
looks.
father? Oh.
Grugan cuts
Yeah, what?
cuts a look at you and go, "Oh, that's what he was talking about."
Yeah, I thought Ross was.
Grugan referring to
Talking about-
Pierre, calling him a slut.
Oh, is that what Ross was yelling at you about?
Yes, I suppose. Yes. So he's my dad. What about it? Probably. That's what my mom always said.
Kind of fucked up.
Well,
I mean, like, it's like a tragedy thing.
tragedy, you say?
I mean, you seem to be falling on to the opposite side of the war that your dad seems to be leading. If that's who it is, jeez.
Yeah.
Goblin Jesus.
Yeah. I can't exactly say he's been the most present dad in the first place. He's
You've probably got a lot of siblings.
yeah, I mean, I think that one is one of them.
And you don't seem to have inherited the rabid bloodlust for dragons that I've heard told about, that family.
Yeah, well, they say he was looking to make a paragon, and so that's, how he and my mother became involved, so she said, and well, that led to me, but appears the moment that he's aware that the child isn't a paragon, he decides to just move on.
What an ass.
Yep. Or I didn't like him. Now I'm dead sure don't like him.
There's... Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, you're right. He owes me. That's what it is. He owes me. Can't
Everything's a transaction.
Yep. Can't just go around creating kids left and right and just he just owes me. That's all.
suppose.
Mon Cher have much reaction to all of that?
I mean, you both have a shared vendetta.
Shady's muted.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I had to step away.
Probably.
Well, I will say that you can't really choose your parents. So it's not your fault you got stuck with that.
Oh,
Yes, I suppose that's true. But if he's the enemy, are you guys sure we're not shooting out of our league here?
oh, we're not going after him yet. Fuck no.
You make that sound like you're understandable, but you threw in the word "yet" there.
Yes.
Like, he slays dragons.
So you need to get all of us caught up to a level where we could, in theory, slay dragons. Oh, I have no real ill will on dragons, so just kings and people who start goblin
And-
wars.
He's a human, right?
Garson is a human, * paragon.
And I mean, we've pretty proven ourselves pretty well like humans. So, I mean,
Do you not know what a paragon is?
I know what a parapet is.
I mean, looking at him, he's very tall and buff for a normal human. Like, more than probably is wholly natural.
Does he look bigger than Grugan's normal form?
Yeah, he might, or at the very least
But he-
on par with it.
Would he rival the orc chief?
He wouldn't be quite as big as the orc chief, but he wouldn't look significantly smaller.
Which is frightening because one of them is a giant boar.
Yep.
Yes.
Like George Garson the First could pass for a normal human until you saw him like lift a elephantine dragon by himself. George Garson the Second, it's clear that his paragon status has affected his physical form in a very visible and noticeable way. He's one of those paragons that is like specifically kind of giant. Not quite ogre, but in the vein of ogres.
Think of a paragon like this. You got a normal snake. And then you have a... Basilists are not mythological snakes in this setting, are they?
Well, if you had a person who was doing biological taxonomy for Midgeheimer animals, no, they are not technically true snakes. But most people would view them as, like, big, weird snakes.
You got, you know,
I mean,
your
granted, a lot of
regular-
people view dragons as big, weird snakes, so, you know.
You got your
No.
regular big old snakes, and then you got your dragons. Paragon is like that for people. For humans.
Well, yeah. So it's not a right now kind of a thing. I don't think if we ganged up on him individually, like us five just against him would work in one of the middle of towns. It's a really bad decision. But we have a job first to warn the goblin tribes and things like that. So once we warn the goblin tribes, then we make a plan. Because by that point, we'll have traveled halfway across all of Francaine. Or at least this region of Francaine, I don't remember.
I
don't
have one
rem-
important question. Do any of you have your glamour make you look like a Frankish soldier?
No. I made myself look like the least capable of fighting ever.
The least threatening Frankish twink.
Yes. Although I didn't choose that.
and-
The magic chose that because it's funny.
The magic shows that.
I would think Art would look like he probably looks older than he did when he died as a disguise, and also
I'm talking about outfit-wise. Are you dressed in a soldier's livery?
Oh no, I'm dressed in traditional street clothing, I guess. A little
Mhm.
outdated, but I'm old.
Average peasant clothes. Anyone
Average.
else?
No. Yeah, Duck
No.
just looks like a farmer.
All right, just wanted to know. Anyways, go on.
Just like, well, yeah. So we got our job. We're gonna go do our job first. But my eventual goal, my personal goal, is to stop the war. Full stop. So that means I gotta take out Mr. Big Bright Shining Boots over there and shove him in Moncher's jar. And oh no, I have to stop Big Mr. Shining Boots over there and shove him in his jar.
I need multiple jars.
This is true. But yeah, not immediate. So it's a good. We're doing right now is technically reconnaissance. And plus, if they look over here and they start talking to us, we can be like, have that kind of a conversation, bring up that you think he's your dad, but don't want to get too messy involved. And most soldiers will be like, oh, that's just more paperwork than it's worth, and call it good.
Do not bring up he's my dad to them. Do that to me.
Well, yeah, you'll bring it up. And that's why we're being weird and all standing by this well, looking at the entire platoon of soldiers.
As you were talking, you realize that one of the knights has split off and approached the well. It's one of the ones that is bearing the Garson insignia on his shield, which he sets down as he goes to grab a bucket and put it into the well. He looks at you all and gives you a curt nod with his helmeted head as he begins pulling up some water.
Urgen will nod back and then turn and completely ignore him.
No, I think Art will do the same and just kind of vibe with the day.
He pulls the bucket up, turns and is about to leave, stops, looks at you all and says, "You all just came into town today, correct?"
Oi.
Yep, just following our merchant friend.
You came from the south. Not to pry. Have you heard any news from the south?
Not much interesting. There's a smell of smoke.
Yes, that would make sense. I've heard some rumblings of trouble down there.
Nothing interesting for a soldier like yourself. Just the forest was awful pretty yesterday.
It's a shame. It would be nice to spend some time enjoying the actual sights of Francaine instead of sitting in this damn town square.
Yeah, not to pry, but yeah, we heard that the a knight here passed away recently, and you're waiting on word from his daughter, right?
Yes, father needs to talk with the knight of House Sangren, who apparently passed away shortly before we arrived, which is just great. And his heir is several days' ride away. But it's fine.
Hmm.
Father, you said, right? Father.
Yes, he sighs with a weirdness. Is like, and when he takes off his helmet, and you see is a fairly young man, roughly in his 20s, with a weariness about him that seems beyond his years. I am George Garston III.
Oh.
Don't make much of it. He looks over, to the nice station there, and is like, I'm here on official business with my father to secure some support for the Goblin War, and it's been a very trying experience.
I can imagine.
Doesn't seem like a fun time, no.
Well, he claims it's necessary work, so. And as he's about to say something else, you hear from another, Junior, where's the water? The troops are thirsty. Coming. And he gives you all another nod before slumping his shoulders and walking carefully back with a bucket of water.
Poor sucker. The third this soon? God, Karsten's got an ego on him.
Well, that's your brother, huh?
I guess so. Wonder if he's met other siblings. I mean, that man has lived for like centuries, so.
I mean, no offense to. I guess full offense to him, but I get the sense that he probably doesn't even bring up the. Okay, now no offense to you, and I say this is, from his point of view, the failed attempts.
Probably.
So he might not even know he has, half siblings running around.
I'll have to try if we get another chance. Hard to tell, I suppose, if they're about to take action soon, though, wasn't it?
He's going through the steps to wait. Seems like they're doing the proper thing first. So we got some time to get ahead of him if we wanted to.
Probably not a bad idea. I don't want to tangle with him. I know him only by reputation, but that's enough.
Yep. Personally, I don't want to tangle with him too soon because I don't know if I could control myself.
Yeah.
You build a grudge against the fellow who led you to his death, technically.
I thought he didn't even take role in the last Goblin War.
No, but he helped push for it in the courts.
That is true.
And so then my head person was like, well, we need volunteers, and I volunteered, and I had to leave my old life behind and to go play soldier for a man who didn't know I existed and didn't care if I did. I'm just impressed the kid didn't recognize that I'm speaking in his own accent rather than the local one.
Well, he seemed a little. Is beaten down the right word to describe that?
Yes.
Yes.
Quite literally big shoes to fill there.
And I wonder if that fella in the black armor is kind of filling them shoes, and that's why he's fetching the water. But just a thought.
Yeah, making his own son go off to fetch water instead of just sending one of the soldiers, that's just humiliation stuff.
I don't want to feel sympathy for this character, but she's not having a good time.
Classic TT not making it easy for us.
I
I
know
mean,
what
I'm gonna make you hate him later.
I know what he becomes. I hate him already.
Fair enough. That's true. Good point.
You can have sympathy for the circumstances that lead someone to be a piece of shit and still recognize they're a piece of shit.
Yeah, he could have taken this and not been that. But he did. Buttface. Or as I named them in my files. Bitch face McAsshole and bitch face McAsshole part 2.
Wasn't one like diet or store brand bitch face McCastle?
Yeah, that was the Black Knight was discount bitch face.
Yeah. All
'Cause I
right.
don't know enough about him to hate him one way or the other.
Oh, you will. You will. Okay. Do we have more we want to do here in the marketplace, or do we want to go back to the Bane City map?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the city map.
Okay. Okay. Places of interest that we can visit at the moment. There's the Temple of the Guivir River, the Smithy, the Fox and Crow Inn, the Estate of Sir Sangren, the Lookout Towers, and the Old Mill.
I kind of want to check out the smithy because it was interesting that the man stopped using iron in his things when he found out there's might be a goblin war.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. As you go into the smithy, you open the door, and you see this fellow and his beautiful full head of hair. Just going to reply to point out the art that I posted earlier today. A blacksmith with a magnificent, like, forked mustache. Currently setting some copper products on display. He's, like, when you come into the shop, immediately you see that there's a lot of very quality works on display. Most of which seem to be made out of copper or bronze. A particularly interesting one is a very old copper and bronze cart with like a sort of a face engraved on it, like a sort of monster face. Looks like it could be pulled by one or two horses.
Isn't that something?
And as you step through the threshold, you feel a warmth of light above your heads. And when you look up, you see that there is an iron horseshoe over the door that is glowing in your presence.
Ah, fuck.
He looks up at you all and says, "Come on in. Close the door."
Look to Grogan. I hate if this isn't bullshit, right? We walk in.
Art just closes the door behind him.
You can drop your glamours.
I
What?
Should I drop yours?
I'm not wearing one.
Grugan will, because he knows that this guy has clocked them already, so he just doesn't feel like there's any use of lying.
Doesn't want to be a twink anymore.
Also that.
one person to treat him the size he is.
He looks at you all, slightly surprised, and says, "Well, you're not any of the regulars."
Oh, so there is a goblin town here.
Yes, the market under the city. Did you not know about it?
No,
we
we're
just got into
newcomers.
town.
Interesting. You're traveling? You know what's going on, don't you?
Oh yeah, the reason we're traveling is because the village we lived in was burned to the ground by those red assholes.
We were asked to go around and warn everybody in the bigger settlements.
It seems like we're
He's a very stoic, stone-faced man, but his eyebrows arch are just a bit of concern. What village was that?
full crack. But also, Champagan was burned as well. We passed that on our way here.
No, we're in Champagan.
Wait, no, in Champagan. Shit.
Cabernet.
Cabernet.
Cabernet. Oh dear.
Sorry, I don't know what
And
I am.
he's looking at something. He's like, "You're not all goblin folk."
I'm a human just like you.
Yeah. And he looks at Art.
Art's probably not turned off the glamour. He's like, "Sorry, mate, it's a bit stinky without the glamour.
Fair
You
enough.
don't need that. You don't need that in your shop."
Not Goblinkin, but definitely needs the glamour to be, in town.
You know what? Actually, the last time I was worried about it, the little girl absolutely adored it, so why not? And then he drops the glamour and it shows the, "Oh, hey, I'm a walking corpse."
And looks you over. Third Goblin War, Breton's side.
Art Baker.
Recognize those suits of armor. I've sold a few.
Perfectly fine. Art Baker, at your service.
I'm guessing you're no longer in the goblin slaying business, given your company.
Oh, I never actually fought a goblin. I mostly fought people.
Mm.
It was a little late for when Bretons came in.
Looks around for a moment. I was hoping you were locals when you came in. I haven't heard much from the people below. I have an order for them that's been ready for some time. If you'd be willing to take it to the old mill down to the Goblin Market, get the fair exchange rate, and make sure everyone down there is all right, given the occupation, I'd be willing to compensate you. I can see you all have weapons and armor on you. I could tune it up for you, make it a bit better.
Well, Flavian, we did meet when you were trying to open up, mercantile ties to, we got the fairy folk, so.
Oh, he had me at the word compensation.
Of course you would. If you're willing to extend that kind of kindness, I'll make sure to help defend and keep your friends and community safe.
You're good folk down there. I've sold to them many times.
But have the soldiers in town been trying to snoop them out?
They have suspicions there's a goblin presence here, but they seem to have suspicions about that of all of Frankane. I don't care for it. Those folk down below are our neighbors. I'm not selling out my neighbors.
And it sounds like they're good for business, am I right? Am I right?
Hey,
He's very business inclined. I do apologize.
had to brush up on my coppercraft, but very much so.
We'll bring your things down to them and make sure that they're all right.
Thank you. I'd be obliged.
Do you mind if I turn my glamour back on before I go back outside?
I think, given the state of things, it would be very wise for you all to put your glamours back on before you leave.
It's just
Yeah.
mostly because I need to get used to being that size again.
I apologize if you're offended by the horseshoe. It was a gift from down below.
No offense. Just my glamour feels weird.
Well, perhaps they can tinker with it, make it better.
Adjust the bear dial.
turn up the bear.
I can't believe your glamour's gonna undergo twink death.
Oh god.
Whoever had this way misaligned. They got you at 200% twink.
God, Doc, she's like,
You're
all right,
M
puts
for
the
doing
glamour.
it should be W for Wumbo.
Oh no. Doc puts her glamour on, but it's the fancy version. She's like, wait, wrong setting. Goes back to her normal peasant clothes.
Alright, so what does he want us to bring down there?
He gives you like he takes out several loads of iron of copper armor and weapons, which he takes a small bejeweled bag of Deophalskin skin, which sort of sucks them all into it, and then closes it with a sort of tentacled latch at the top, which he hands to you.
Ooh.
He's basically making sure that they can defend themselves.
Okay.
You're a good man and a good smith. Can appreciate it from one old tradesman to another.
Thank you. All right. And that's what there is to do at the smithy.
Yeah, before we leave, Grugan's gonna turn at the door and go, if more people were, more concerned about defending their neighbors rather than taking from them, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Nods. Well, it's all we can do to just try and change that one person at a time.
And he'll nod and shut the door.
There was temptation to go, wait, I'm still in here, let me out.
Alright, is there anywhere you want to stop before we go to the old mill, anybody?
I
think Shady's
No.
pretty close to when he has to stop.
We are close to the Cinderella hour. We got about 10 minutes left.
Oh yeah.
mean, unless Flavian wants to go see the statue of his grandpa.
At the temple?
Which would be that'd be like a reunion with an old friend for some of you.
Yes.
It would.
See how dear old George First is remembered.
I guess we could walk past the old mill or walk towards the old mill, and if it's like too suspicious for a group to go in there and disappear, we just walk past towards the temple. There's like soldiers around.
Makes sense.
All right.
Might be after
when
the
you
delivery we do at dark.
Mm-hmm. So we're going straight to the mill then, and then doing the rest later. Or are we going to the temple? Sorry, I was spaced.
Oh, it was if it would be too obvious to go into the mill, we would just walk past to the temple. Like if there were soldiers that would see us go into the mill and be suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually.
You like the soldiers are like they're not swarming everywhere like they were in. So you're actually able to avoid them. Most of them seem to be in the market district, and they don't seem to be watching people very closely. You know, they're not here to control the town yet.
You got to put on a good show still.
Mm-hmm. This is a diplomacy war mission. All right. So you head to the old mill. And when you head there with the magic bag given to you by the blacksmith, you do find as soon as you come in there, like an old hatchway appears, surrounded by mushrooms. And when you go in, it takes you to a dark, dimly lit underground tunnel.
Was it a fairy ring of mushrooms?
Yeah.
Where do we? Oh wait, we're getting
You
this.
start up in this corner.
Nice.
Well, that seems like a delightful little tunnel.
Nice music pick, by the way.
Thank you. Slowly you walk down the tunnel. It's quiet. Eerily so. Not sounding as if there's any signs of life as you go further and further in. Sounding very much abandoned. But eventually, you do come to a very large, ornate door. Covered in, goblin script, with various poetry welcoming people in, and filled with jokes and veiled threats at those who come with ill intent. The door is unlocked. Do you step through the threshold?
Take off the glamour.
Yeah. Take off glamour. And go through. Hello, cat. Why do you like this?
Do you think it would be like as like walk through? Do you think it'd be wise if I turned off my glamour? Because the Red Smith recognized me as the patrol soldiers from the last generation, and there might be lingering fuck it, I'm a skeleton. They can't be too mad.
To be fair, he recognized you in part because he's sold used armor from people in that war before.
Yeah.
As you enter, you find yourself. You guys find yourself in a subterranean city, paved with dark stones, with stone houses, lit by enchanted candles put into the walls and in the ceiling. As you work your way in, you see this very huge fountain at the center of a town square of sorts. Do you approach the fountain?
Yeah, going to the middle of the square.
Does this seem like a ghost town situation, or just
Everything is eerily empty and quiet. Duck, you know that goblin babies are tadpoles. They're polygobs. They're
Yeah.
aquatic. They have gills. They take the first year of life to grow lungs, and a couple more years to grow legs and crawl out. So you immediately clock this huge fountain as probably not just a fountain, but given its proximity in the center of several houses, it's
Probably like a
probably a
nursery.
nursery. And as you guys go up to the nursery, you see several hundred little tadpole bodies bobbing at the surface, floating, motionless except for how they're being pushed by the water around them.
Duck turns around and vomits.
They are lifeless and pale in an anemic fashion.
Well,
And that's when you
poisoned.
hear movement from further up in the town. The scrabbling of little clawed feet, as further up, several goblin figures dressed in red with red hoods over their bodies converge next to two other fairy figures dressed in red. Has the whole town been converted? Yes. Are we sure? We've searched every nook and cranny. Every nook and cranny. Yes, every cranny, every nook.
I don't like the sound of that.
Would Duck recognize them as redcaps, or would she know what a redcap is?
Oh, Duck and Grugan, yes, you both recognize redcaps when you see them.
Oh, we are in some deep shit. Those are redcaps. Vampires.
Those are bad news.
They drank the polygobs dry.
Child matters. Alright, understood. As Art starts reaching for the weapons.
I'm going to give you all the option to make a stealth check, but it's going to be a group check, so you have to nominate a leader and contribute to their score.
What would a stealth be?
Double dex. Or dex plus insight if you'd like it to be that way. I'll accept both. But nominate a leader. The leader's got to get a 14 or higher. Every 10 contributes 1 point to it, and you can use bonds and traits to invoke things to add bonuses and whatnot.
Also, whichever person who succeeds to support has whoever succeeds the support of those people, whoever has the highest bond with the leader gets to add that bond to the overall check.
I thought every single success was a point.
That's true, but also on top of that,
Oh,
the successful supporters, the highest bond also gets added to the score.
That's really good. I didn't know that bit. That's good.
I have a dex and an insight of 10.
Wow.
But if somebody else would like to roll,
Yeah, my
No,
dex
you're
and
good.
insight are both.
Yeah, you can
D8s.
roll. I
Yeah,
mean,
my-
my dex is also 10, but I think it makes sense for you to be the leader of this.
which is the funniest sentence because I am 7.5 feet tall.
Right?
Yeah. That big dice is willpower.
I will do double dex and hope that it rolls nicely for me and not like last time.
To be fair,
Nope.
you guys have 1, 2, 3. Technically, if I want to be generous, 6 Fabula points from all the villains you've shared scenes with today.
I do. So yeah.
Oh, actually 8 because there's 2 here as well.
Okay, yeah. I'll
Jesus,
use
I have
some
so
of
many.
those.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-roll that one.
I'm gonna re-roll all of both of those. So
Yeah. You have a smorgasbord of fabula points
12.
because we've met
That's
a
better.
lot of bad guys today.
That's better,
We've had
Grugan.
2 scenes with Ross, one with all 3 of our big bastard knights, and then 2 with these red caps here. So
Red
7.
caps.
That's 7 fabula points.
So that's a 12 for deck. For deck.
And I did
And
That's
get
a
14,
point
so-
to add to it.
Yeah,
and that same
I'm gonna invoke a fabula point. With my bond of inferiority, just trusting Grugan's judgment to make that 10.
All right, cool.
And then
you guys,
I spent 1 to give her another bonus as well. So
excellent. You guys more than succeed the stealth check, which is good. You are not noticed by the red caps as they are scheming. So you get to overhear their conversation. As the 2 that are not of goblin origin speak authoritatively. When should the attack commence? The army is above us. Do we go right to add to the reputation of duplicity and cruelty? It would be nice. We could drag the humans out of their homes, screaming and kicking into the fury of the night. It would be a beautiful atrocity. And the knights, they're capable of stopping our assault, correct? Oh, quite so, quite so. 3 dragon slayers amongst them. And none of the Frankish soldiers have arrived yet? That is unfortunately true. But the Bretons are here, and they will look quite heroic, perhaps even more so without the Frankish soldiers at their side, defending a town that isn't even of their nation. And I believe the plan is in motion. We strike at night. Set yourselves to rest, then. We shall wait until the sun falls.
So, Grugan, I think we should attack now, before they can cause any trouble or disperse.
Wait for them to go to sleep.
Yeah. We should back up to the entrance and go find as much garlic as we can to ring it. That will keep them from leaving that exit, but there's probably other exits.
You see dozens of red caps begin to file into houses. Many of them just immediately lying down on the ground as soon as they enter, without any actual care for comfort as they sleep on the dirt of the floor. The 2 fancy red caps watch as this all happens, before giving each other a wicked grin and both disappearing in a poof of dark red smoke.
Why do they want the Breton soldiers to look good?
Because this is just speculation, but if goblin, fairies like us, boogeymen are scared enough of the goblin war, the goblin slayers, they may willingly seek help from, even fucked up things like the red caps.
If the humans have a big enough official war against them to march straight into Francaine, the Bretons don't care what kind of goblins they are. Flat out.
So you're saying this is all? So you're saying this is all a setup?
Setting it up so the Breton soldiers look good so they can march in to take care of goblins, put the other goblins on pressure for whatever the fuck they want to do with them. I'm not familiar with red caps per se, but if they're vampires, they probably won't, fear, distrust, fracturing between them, etc. Hazard a guess.
Oh, whatever they're doing. We should take care of these ones so nobody up top actually gets hurt. There's a lot of innocent people there.
Duck
Oh,
is distinctly making a point not to glance in the direction of the fountain.
It is roughly before noon in the day. They are planning to attack at night. They have not caught you yet, so you do have several hours to prepare and potentially catch them while they're sleeping. But that will be for next session to figure out, as we end today's session of Currents of War. Sleep tight, everybody.
Don't let the red caps bite.
Don't let the twinks bite.